Raf, and I'm here to talk to you about SkyStrife. So, what is SkyStrife? It's a full-on-chain RTS developed by Lattice. Some of you may know, and it's been on testnet since December. We've been doing several seasons to try to improve the game. This is how it looks and plays. So, why SkyStrife, right? Why are we doing this? Why are we putting ourselves through the pain of, some people know, making a fully on-chain game? Because we want to prove these 3 points. The first one is the capacity to have autonomous worlds, like virtual worlds, to let them live by themselves and live beyond the developers. Second one is to test the lattice stack, basically mud and redstone. So making sure that everything works, eating our own dog food. And finally, for the laws, that one is highly disputable because it's not as fun as we once thought. So what the hell do you mean by autonomy, right? It's a beautiful world and all that. So if blockchain is the world computer and software running in it can be upgraded and modded at will, it's just out there, right? It's open source 2.0. This is kind of the thesis that we follow. And we see every user as a creator. This is a paradigm that has shifted in normal media when the internet came, because before the internet, you had to have a radio station, a TV station, and then you would have the TV and you could just watch passively. Now, basically, with the internet, every TV can also broadcast content, and that's why we got into influencer hell, where everybody has an opinion and saying stupid things. So this is the paradigm we're in. But is it true, right? Is it really true? Because what we have is like IP is legally locked. I can't do a, like Mickey Mouse now kind of became free because but it's just the old Mickey, not the new Mickey, so it doesn't count. Basically, like you can't do to Mickey Mouse what Walt Disney did to the Grimm brothers with Snow White and stuff. So servers are locked, code bases are locked, everything is behind protection, and most importantly, the user base is protected, right? All the Warcraft WoW players, they are behind the wall, like we can't access them, we can't have fun with them. So this is also true for music and movies, like with the IP and all that. But shouldn't we lead the way? Shouldn't we like break these things free and let people build on top of them and around them? So this is what we have. We have like everything's open source. The client is open source. Everybody can deploy in Redstone. Mud is open source. And we have made a plugin system in SkyStrife to simplify production. So to go back to what Justin said, yes, it's a bit of this level is for a programmer player kind of thing. We see it almost like a two-sided platform. There are some players that will build, but there are also players who will not. I worked at EVE Online for a while, so this is something that we saw. There are different kinds of players, there are different levels of involvement. So some players will want to build on top. Some players will just have like a more passive consumption of the game, and you're trying to, give something for everybody in the stack. Economy, oh, it changes, yeah. Economy is a big deal because everything you put on the blockchain somehow gets priced. People derive value, people start to speculate and basically turn it to shit. So we made a token that is fully functional, so it is used to create the matches. The token is fair and it's distributed from gameplay only, so we don't get the orbs. Like we don't have any like developer allocation, angel. There's no bullshit like that. Only way to get it is by playing the game, and the only way to use it is to play more of the game. So it's kind of a self-loop thing. We hope it works. So there is another thing that's important. Axie showed it very clearly, is that when you have an emission of a token that has speculative value from usage, people just abuse it. And then you have runaway inflation. So what we did is we did like a small trick. We're trying to do, we'll see how it works, is that the more people play, the less we emit of the token. So there's a limited amount. So if people play too much, they start not making money. So now they're playing for fun, right? So as volume goes up, the issuance goes down to the point where playing a game is actually at a loss. We'll see how that goes. But we do expect to block that huge peak and then not have the great fall. So it's going to be released on May 1st on Redstone. Oh shit, that thing went away. That's a rock. So Redstone. And yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to have lots of fun, hopefully. And so yeah, this is a little bit bullshitty. We're supposed to talk about doing, not talking. So I'll leave you with Andy, who is actually the person who writes the code and knows much more than me. And he'll be on Discord to help anyone who wants to build out. And he has made a little video because he can't be with us. He lives in Japan and he's over there. How do I just press here?
I'm an employee at Lattice, and I've been working on the on-chain RTS game SkyStrife for 2 years. And I want to show you the progress we've made today and hopefully get you excited about it and get you building on it in the next couple of days. First off, I just want to apologize for not being there in person. I had my flights booked, I had everything planned out, but something came up and I had to cancel last minute. But Lisbon looks amazing. I hope you all have a lot of fun. So I'm just going to jump right into it. We're looking at SkyStrife right now. If you've played games like StarCraft or Warcraft, Age of Empires, you'll be right at home in SkyStrife. It is a unit management and resource management game like those other RTS titles. I'm going to give some commands to units right now. Obviously, it's fully on-chain. All the logic is on-chain. Every move I'm executing right now is a transaction. So in the game, you control armies. You use those armies to defeat your opponent's armies. You capture gold mines. These gold mines here will give you gold that's used to create more units and create bigger armies and defeat your opponents. The goal of the match is to be the last person standing. If you eliminate an opponent's spawn castle like these, they're out of the game. The person with the spawn castle remaining last wins. So let me just do some combat here to show you what that looks like. Things can get pretty hectic, as you can tell. There's already a lot of units on screen, and I'm the only person in this match right now. This is just a test match. We currently have 4 people possible to join in the match at once, and all the matches are free for all. So the goal of SkyStrife was to be fun and action packed from day one. But the question I keep getting is, how do I build on top of it? Where does the composability come in? And I thought a lot about this, and I previously worked on Dark Forest, and Dark Forest had a thriving builder community, and with actually like not a lot of tooling around it. And that the one tool that they did provide was a client plugin system, and I really wanted to have that same kind of energy come to SkyStrife. So I've taken what I learned from working on Dark Forest and made another client plugin system, but hopefully improved upon it with my learnings and my failings while working on the Dark Forest system. So let me demonstrate to you some of the plugin examples I have built into the client right now. So let's pop open the plugin manager. I want to show you the Frenzy plugin. So first off, every time you spawn a plugin, you're going to see it gets put into its own draggable, minimizable window. As a plugin developer, you can put anything you want here, any HTML, any JavaScript. And you also have access to the entire client internal API. So for example, this Frenzy plugin, you select a unit, and when you hit F, it will scan all of the possible enemy units around you and execute the most favorable attack for you, taking into account terrain, armor bonuses, and counters. So if you're in a hectic battle, there's a lot of units around you, you don't have time to execute your moves carefully, you can simply go in and spam F on every single one of your units, and it will attack something relatively useful, hopefully freeing up your mind for more higher level strategic thinking or focusing elsewhere on the map in a separate battle maybe. So Frenzy is possible because it has full access to the internal client API. Now, it's pretty overwhelming. Like, it's the same API that I use, and honestly, there's a lot of undocumented functions in there. So there's also a higher level API, a plugin API that I developed with completely documented functions, and all the examples make heavy use of that as well. So the goal of this client plugin system was just to be as streamlined as possible for newcomers, so you can just get in and start writing logic as quickly as possible. I'll show you some of the other examples I have built in. We have a UI example. I have a bunch of built-in UI components that you have access to, so you don't need to worry about styling. We also have an example of an informational plugin. Like this player details plugin surfaces up, the total gold of an opponent, the gold per turn, all their owned entities in one place. These are things that aren't necessarily like immediately available in the official client. So this is an experiment in like, oh, what if we gave people more powerful information to make decisions during the game? And then we even have like a more granular, like, brutalist plugin. Like, let's see all the transactions that are executed during my match. And this is very simple. There's no like actual transaction information here. It just shows, the status of whether it's completed or reverted. So already, I hope you can start to see that, yes, automation is possible. Displaying additional information to the user is possible. And also like displaying like even like internal information of this game is possible. But I know that just having a powerful API is not really good enough if it's hard to understand or hard to get started. So I also developed a plugin dev server, which I have running in the background right now. And let me show you what is possible there. So let's pop open the Frenzy plugin. Pretty simple, 128 lines of code. And let's change the, Let's change the plugin hotkey to A instead of F, and let's watch it update in real time. So if you have this plugin dev server running, and you load up the version of the plugin that has been inserted by the plugin dev server, you see that here. You don't even have to reload your client. The plugin will update automatically. There's hot reloading. And this plugin dev server is not only possible to use locally, but if you were playing on the live game of the production client, but you had the plugin dev server running, the production client will also look for that and connect to it. So you could develop plugins in real time in like a more production environment. So, take my word for it. I'm hitting A right now, and that is attacking the opponent. And this is all TypeScript, so we have a fully typed API. You can see all of the functions that are available to you, and I made sure to have some good comments, good annotation everywhere. And if there's something not available in the plugin API, once again, you have access to the entire internal API. SkyStrife is open source, and I will be available to build out the plugin API because I'm sure there will be things that you all want access to that I haven't thought of in my, my simple examples here. So this displayed the possibilities for client plugins, but there's also another aspect of plugins that haven't really been explored yet. But Peter Pan has a great example that he talked to me about one day, and this is something that I really want people in Lisbon to explore, and I'm here to help. Because we're building on the MUD framework, the SkyStrife is extensible by default. Anyone can deploy their own smart contracts to SkyStrife that have access to the same underlying systems that the normal game client does, like attacking, building, moving units. So Peter Pan's example was, let's make an on-chain bounty plugin. And this bounty plugin allows me to say, hey, this swordsman right here, whoever kills this swordsman gets 50 ETH. That's a lot. I know it's a lot. You get 50 ETH if you kill the swordsman, and you could have a UI in your SkyStrife match that shows all of the open bounties. You can kill that swordsman, and you can claim in-game with on-chain information, hey, I killed that swordsman, give me my 50 ETH, and you can cash out right in the SkyStrife app. And all of that is possible today with the extensibility of MUD combined with this built-in client plugin system. And you could share this plugin with everyone playing SkyStrife. Now, that's incredibly exciting for me. To me, that becomes like a Steam workshop, but except a Steam workshop where you actually have access to the underlying persistent game world that everyone is looking at. I think this is probably the most exciting thing about autonomous worlds right now. This is something that I really want to see happen. And I want to just go into very briefly the persistent world that underlies the entire SkyStrife game. So if we go over into the main menu here, you can see that all of these matches exist in one interface one mud world, if you will. And they're underpinned by a simple economic layer. We have one ERC20 token that we call orbs. It is just represented by this crystal ball symbol. Orbs are what powers the entire game. It's the in-game currency. It is used to create matches, and it's also the reward from matches. I don't want to go too much into it, like the economic details here, but what I do want to point out is that since we have this in-game currency, plugin creators can potentially earn tips in this in-game currency for making plugins. Personally, if I was a third-party developer, I would add a tip button at the bottom of my plugin and say, hey, if you enjoyed this plugin, if I helped you win and win some orbs, give me 10 orbs of the 500 that you just won. And that is very, very possible right now. You could add that tip button. You click it, the user opens up their external wallet, and they are immediately sending it to your address. So to conclude, SkyStrife will be live. I'm going to deploy a test world for you all at Lisbon. It's going to be slightly modified, so it's easier to use. There will be a faucet, and all match creation will be free. You won't need orbs to start the economy up. And I won't be in person, but I will be online. And also my coworkers, Raf and Justin, will be there as well. So reach out to them, reach out to me if you have any questions. I will be attentive, and I will be working on the plugins as well, honestly. This is a good opportunity for me to test out my own tooling. So thank you. Hope you have a lot of fun, and see you on Discord, I guess.
Thanks, everyone. The world is deployed. There are links to the repo. There are links to the world that we deployed for AA. Everything is with Peter. I think he put in some spreadsheet. So thank you very much.